friends. How are you? Oh, it's saying I'm live. So what I need to do, I need to share, because you know on Facebook, it won't allow you to share on your fan page. So I gotta be friends with myself and share this bad boy. So I'm gonna share here. I'm gonna share in the group. What's my group? Jesus Lord. This how you know you're getting up there when you start forgetting stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. So tonight, I want to talk about what do you do after you receive your 501c3 status. So a lot of times people be like, yeah, girl, I just got my 501c3. I'm a 501c3 nonprofit and people are going to give me money. 9 times out of 10, when you get your 501c3 status from the IRS, when you get that letter, they're not going to mail it. They're not going to email it to you. They're going to mail it to you. Okay. They still old school. Nothing's going to happen. I think if you could get that in your head, like the moment you become a 501c3 nonprofit, nothing magically happens. People do not drop money in your pocket. They're not waiting in line to give you a check. They're just like, nope. You have a 501c3 and it's up to you to figure it out. So here's some quick tips on knowing what to do when you get your 501c3 status. First things first, once you become a 501c3, you should register with your local city or your state association for nonprofits, okay? And what that means is, if you register with the local organization, the association that pertains to all nonprofits, what happens is you're going to find out about grant opportunities. You're going to find out about when new programs are happening. You're going to find out what other nonprofits are doing. If you're with the state of North Carolina, because I'm in North Carolina, then you're going to find out from the state level what's going on. You're going to find out, hey, there's new trainings, there's new webinars that you can be a part of that's going to help you to grow as a nonprofit. Okay. The next thing you should do, you should meet with your board. You should meet with your board because 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to develop your bylaws by yourself or with a nonprofit consultant like myself. But the board doesn't have any type of input on what you're doing, why you're doing it, what's your programs. So start a meeting, get a meeting together with your board and start talking through how much money we have to raise, how much money y'all gonna get. What's the mission statement? What's the programs? Talk about, hey, are we in compliance? Are we in compliance? Like, hey, do we need to bring in more board members? Hey, is there a training that needs to take place? Okay, so that this organization functions. So if you're dealing with like a tutoring program, or if you're dealing with like after school, or maybe like early childhood, there may be some things that your board may have to go through. They may have to sign like confidentiality forms. They may have to, of course, get insurance. But there's key things that you should be talking to with your board. Like, nobody's going to write you a check and give you some money. You got to work for this thing, okay? And the next thing, be in compliance with your state. Every state is different. Every state has different rules. I know in the state of Georgia, once you become a 501c3, once you become a nonprofit, you actually have to pay a $45 fee, an annual report fee every year in the state of Georgia. Then you have to pay for a newspaper notice saying that you're a nonprofit. Every state has different rules. So it's very key that you research the requirements of your state, that you research what is it that my nonprofit or this nonprofit that I'm managing, what is it that we have to do? Okay, the next part, execute your program. So you should be developing your program. You should know what's in the program design, like who are you serving, where are you serving these people at, what's the results you're trying to look for. The next part is executing the program. That means put the program into place. Figure out when you're going to launch the program. Figure out where your clients are. Who do I want to serve? Who do I want to, who do I want to be around? So for you with your program, it's all about developing it, but also executing it. Getting it out there, letting people know, hey, we're open for business. We're open to receive new clients and stuff, okay? And with your program design, if you do a program design, you can do a grant proposal, because the grant proposal is similar to the program. Boom. Okay. All right. Hey, Ron. The next part. Figure out your financial system. Yes, I understand that, when you set up your bank account and you get your money and you set your bank account up and you're like, oh, we're getting donations in, money's coming in. Somebody gave us $20. But what's going to track the money coming in? Yes, you should set up your bank account. You should already have an EIN number if you've got a tax ID number. But you should be setting up like your PayPal, if it's QuickBooks, if it's FreshBooks that's going to be managing account management. If you're going to be doing that, you need to have some type of system that's going to be monitoring and keeping track of what you're spending and what's coming in. The bank account is just there to receive the money. PayPal is just a way for people to give you more money. It's like an invoicing service. That's why when people send you Cash Apps, I know people love Cash App. I love Cash App too, for me. But for a nonprofit, when people send you Cash App, sometimes you don't even know who these people are. So you can't even send them a donation receipt. You can't follow up with them. You can't send them the Great Christmas greeting card. Hey, thank you for supporting I'm a Queen this year. We would like to thank you for your support and be a continued partner with you. I mean, you want to be able to get people's contact information. So that's why I use a service called donorbox.org. It's free. It allows you to connect your Stripe account and your PayPal account. You can set up different designations, and when people donate to you, it goes into that. And then you can use QuickBooks to manage all your finances, your financial statements, because when you get an accountant and they look at your paperwork, your financials, they're going to ask you for your QuickBook login. Hey, can I get access to your QuickBook? Sure, yes, you can. You can get access to this because I need you to know what we're doing and what we're not doing. Yes, Tracy, DonorBox, love it. And the next part, figure out how you're going to say thank you. So once you become, a 501c3, and yes, you may get your first grant. I know somebody who got a grant within 30 days of becoming a 501c3. COVID money, got $4,000, okay? And I'm sitting there like, okay, you got people who are automatically coming out gate giving you money. Some people do have that story. You have to figure out a way on how you're going to say thank you. Are you going to say thank you via email? Do you have a donation receipt template? Do you have any type of greeting cards that you can start mailing out to people? Hey, get into the process of getting people's contact information so you can build up your email list, your donor list. Like, all this stuff is data that you're collecting. And for some nonprofits, they may not even launch this year. They may not even launch maybe the first time they get the paper. Okay? But still work. Do the work. And the next part, work on your website. Work on your website. Work on your social media. Get your email newsletter up. Even if you have on your website coming soon, launching May 2021, sign up for our e-newsletter. That's okay. Because it's up to y'all, the board, to understand when y'all are going to launch. Because the board is a group of volunteers. They are not your co-workers. They're a group of volunteers who are volunteering their time, okay? And then the last part, and I know you're probably like, why did you put this last? I put this last because sometimes you got to have things in order. Like, sometimes when you show up, you got to show up on 100. You got to show it with your I's dotted, your T's crossed. So the last part, you need to introduce this nonprofit. The introduction could be a virtual wine tasting. When we get out of this COVID world, your introduction could be, hey guys, I want you to come meet me at this restaurant. You rent out like a little area. You invite your friends. You invite your board. They invite people. And you get there, there's food. It's mixing and mingling. You may have some tea. You know, they can buy their own stuff. And you get there and you start talking to people about what this nonprofit is about. And then somebody goes, ting, 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 ting. I would like to talk to you about our program that we're planning to launch in October of 2020. You can do a brunch. I've seen nonprofits do 5Ks. Like, hey, I want to introduce this nonprofit by paying tribute to this person or this group. But the reason why I put introduce your nonprofit last, I would rather you have your website and your social media together before you start telling people, I got a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. I would rather you know what your program is. Who are you trying to serve? What does your client look like? Like, we did homework last week where I said in my group, close your eyes and start imagining who is your ideal client. What do they look like? What do they need? How can you help them? How do they feel when they get your services? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do they feel when they receive your services? You know? So you take this time to imagine. Take this time to plan. Take this time to get stuff on paper, because let me tell you something. If somebody had told me that you had to do a program design first, then you apply for the grant. And what I did was, this is what I did. I already have my program design together. So what I do is when a grant comes open, I actually copy and paste from the program design. So I know what the project description is. I know how much it's going to cost because I already have it. I'm updating the program design every year. That's what I'm doing. So just to do a recap for my people who came on a little later. So after you get your 501c3, I said to you, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Money is not going to shoot from the stars, honey. Nothing happens until you start, okay? So you need to register with your state or local nonprofit association to find out about upcoming grant applications or webinar training, any type of resources that you need to function in your state. Meet with your board. Meet with the board. Develop your programs and execute your programs. Find your client. Figure out when you're going to start working with people that you claim you're going to serve. Be in compliance with your state. Every state is completely different. North Carolina is completely different from Georgia, Texas, Virginia. Everybody's completely different, y'all. The next part, figure out your financial systems. Yes, get the bank account. Yes, get PayPal. But how are you going to track it? Are you going to use QuickBooks? Are you going to use FreshBooks? Like, what is it that you're going to use? Because when an accountant comes in, they say, what's your numbers? You can be able to run a report and say, hey, this is how much we brought in. This is how much money we lost. This is how much money we ain't got. Like, you know, tell the truth. Figure out how to say thank you to your donors. Order your stationery. Figure out if you're going to be sending out e-blasts or, you know, e-thank yous, or are you going to call people? What's your donation receipts going to look like? How can you be authentic and new and fresh? You know, do something different, y'all. Work on your website, social media. Work on that. And then last part, introduce the nonprofit. Get the board. Y'all get people together and y'all introduce this nonprofit to people. Introduce it. Tell them about it. Tell them about the great things that y'all are going to do and the type of support that you need. Tell them. And then here's another thing. Even if you have started, bring a client who's willing to speak on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? So introduce a nonprofit, because people will help you if they see you doing. Now you say, look, listen, I got a 501c3. They're going to say, okay, what you doing? Oh, we just waiting until it's time to apply for a grant. They'll be like, oh, okay, well, let me know when you need some help. And here's another part. Yes, you sure can. Here's another part. Always know how people can help you. Always know how people can help. You know how, they say women, I got it, I can figure it out. Let me tell you something, a nonprofit, you better have a list of 10. How can I support you today? Oh, the way you can support I'm a Queen, you can be a sponsor of the snacks that these children consume. You can be the sponsor of the journals that they love to write in, and they go missing every time I give it to them, and I just can't understand why. Or you could be the sponsor of the pens that just disappear every year, and then they just turn up somewhere. Like, oh, you can sponsor a backpack for Christmas. Oh, you can sponsor a child. Oh, I said sponsor a backpack for back to school. Sponsor a child for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Always know how someone can help you. Yes, we are in the serving business, servant leadership. We are servant leaders. We serve the community. But you have to be willing to tell people how to help you. And if you don't know, it's okay. But what I'm going to ask you to do, if you don't know, start discovering it. That's why I said imagine what your clients need. Because I can guarantee you, I have a client, she's trying to start a homeless center, like a homeless shelter. But I can guarantee you, once she starts that program and she gets in and she gets the house and she gets the, the bedding and the laundry detergent and she gets the food in the refrigerator, I can guarantee you something else is going to be needed. Somebody is going to come in and say, I need access to this. I need to know how to get a job. I need how to, do all this. I can guarantee you your program is going to change as much as we change our hair. Come on now. So, that's my video for tonight. And I hope this was helpful. Because I see it all the time. I got my 501c3. But what you gonna do when you get it? Because money's not gonna come to you just because you got a piece of paper. Money comes when you start walking by faith. When you start walking by faith. When you walk by faith. That's the stove, y'all, so I gotta go. But leave some comments on here, because I ain't trying to burn my food. But leave some comments. I hope y'all enjoyed this information. You can go to LanaKnowsNonprofits.com and sign up for my workshops too. I got a workshop coming up called How They Grew Their Nonprofit, the Board of Directors edition. And we have a grant writing workshop in November. And in December, we are doing program design. Yep. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.